I'm Geoff Nichols, and today we're talking about taking charge of change. Let me ask you a question. When you've been told something by somebody, maybe they saw it on the internet or they saw it on the TV and they said, "Did you know?" And it turned out to be something really startling and maybe even a little shocking. What did you say? "No way. Unbelievable. That's incredible." Now, those are the kinds of reactions that we commonly have when we're confronted with something that's much different than what we consider to be normal and right. In my 20 years of training and consulting with over 100 companies, one of the things I've noticed is that we as managers do a great job of what I like to call the analytical or logical side of planning change. We get the structural changes down real well, we get the financial changes down real well, the process changes. We get all that really well and the plan looks so good, and then when we implement it, sometimes it comes apart at the seams. And why? Because the people who are involved, the people who are affected, resist it in some way, don't they? Well, that's what we don't do as well. We get the logic good, but we don't get the people side as well as we should. And today we're going to talk about how we can actually anticipate what people's reactions are going to be and then have a good plan for that. It'll make the process so much more smooth. Well, we've already described the first stage in people's reaction to a significant change or something that's really not normal. And that's denial. That's the no way stage. The second stage, though, and it comes pretty quickly after denial, and that's resistance. Now, if it's a significant change, and I've had a chance to think about it for a few moments or a few minutes, and I realize that, hey, this might impact me, and I might lose out of this something if the change hasn't been well explained to me, then I'm immediately going to push back and say, this isn't going to work. We tried that before, and it didn't work then. It won't work now. There's going to be all kinds of phrases that we've heard from people before. And if we know that resistance is possible from the changes that we're planning, we can anticipate and plan for how we're going to deal with those changes. Now, one thing that we really need to make sure we do is not react to the emotion. We need to respect what people's thoughts are and what their feelings are, and keep repeating what the benefits of the change will be for them, but also give them examples of how it's going to make life better for them, and perhaps give them the things that they're most afraid about. Security, control, competence. Am I going to be able to do the job that they're asking me to do? If the manager's already given me reassurance about it, then I'm much more likely to be able to go on to the next stage of reaction to change, and that's exploration. Now, exploration is a lot like resistance because people may still have kind of a harsh tone. We're still pretty emotional about it. And remember, that's what we're trying to do, is to bring the fear down so that we can bring the logic up. Now, in exploration, you know that they're exploring when their challenges and their questions turn to the future. Well, what are we going to do when this happens? Well, have you thought about that? When people are starting to say, visualize the future, then we know that they're beginning to make the change. And our job as managers is to help encourage them along and engage them at this process. This is a critical time, because when they start saying, what about when, we already have some ideas about how things are going to go, but this is a perfect time to get them involved and say, well, what do you think? I've got some ideas, but how can we make this go well? We know what we want to do, but the how isn't cast in stone, so help us out here. At that point, employees will tend more to engage, and we're moving them along to the final stage of managing change, and that is acceptance. Now, acceptance has a lot of degrees, doesn't it? There can be grudging acceptance. Well, I don't like it, but since I don't have any choice, I guess I'll do it. And we've seen that before, haven't we? We'd like to get them to the next level up, and that is, well, okay, I get it. Let's give it a try. And then the final stage of acceptance is commitment, where people are saying things like, well, the more I think about this, the more I think it's a great idea, and I'm wondering why we didn't do this 5 years ago. Now, that's what we would like to see, but sometimes, and the truth is, that some people don't make it through all those stages, do they? And then we have to deal with that separately. Well, what we're going to talk about today is how we plan for each part of the people side of change, so that we're there to help them move through it quickly, and they're not resisting, they're accepting and moving the change more quickly along to help the organization and every one of our employees along the way. Thank you.